Alrighty, welcome back. It's day 11, and I got plans for today. My plans include making a blast furnace and starting steel production, as well as doing some stuff for my own gear and tools, and possibly even working towards building up a new building on the homestead. So last episode, my Nether expedition left my new armor kind of battered. So for the time being, I'm going to wear this iron armor, which is just slightly worse, I think, in some aspects. But it'll get me through the episode. But I do want to work towards making something that could repair this, so maybe like an anvil, perhaps. So we'll see what we can get about that. Just for a quick quest to be completed, I'm going to make a cauldron. And now we can make an anvil. And with said anvil, we now have the possibility of repairing our items, so we can keep looking good. Alright, and while I was doing that, all my ingredients had cooked up. Now this makes 4, and I need 27 for the multi-block structure, so that's how many I need. And now we can get into some steel production. And just like I said in my previous video, I'm going to place this blast furnace right next to the coke oven. Alright, we're going to hit it with a hammer, and it's done. All you got to do inside is place your fuel and place some iron, and it's going to cook up. It's going to burn through one whole coal coke and 1 ingot to make your steel, and usually a side product like slag or something like that. So yeah, this is going to cook in the background. I think in the meantime, I'm going to do some more resource gathering. Last episode, we got quartz in the nether, which I can use to apply sharpness to my sword. So I can get all the way up to plus 10 attack. Look at that, 10 attack damage from this sword. Nice. Okay, I'm going to quickly go out and explore the world. My main goal for out there is to find some clay, because the build I have in mind is going to take a lot of bricks. So I'm hoping to go out there, explore the world, find some clay, also chop down some trees of variants I don't have, maybe bring back some saplings. And if I can find any other variants of bees, I would also appreciate that. So let's set sail and see what we can do. Okay, so at this point I turned off my microphone so I can just focus on adventuring and staying alive. The Nether wrecked my butt last episode, and I would prefer if I could prevent that in the overworld. So here's some tips for you while I'm out exploring. Obviously, come prepared with some decent armor and weapons. I think what I got is very doable for early game. I have Invar tools and black quartz armor. I could have rushed and gotten this stuff sooner than what I did. It would take a bit more resources, but nonetheless, I feel like this setup is pretty doable. And ranged weapons are much preferred to close combat. It's a lot easier to pick enemies off from a distance. As soon as you get into close quarters, it's game over. Enemies also have like increased knockback resistance, so even if you're fighting at them, like they stay close to you and they lunge at you, and it's just more difficult. Stay away from enemies as much as possible. Also, having a sleeping mat to pass the night and make sure that you have storage on you. Upgrade your backpack that you got at the beginning, or even make multiple of them. They're not that expensive, just to make more of them. And also, the quest line in the first chapter, the one where you need to make an iron chest, rewards you with a shulker box. Max that thing out. It doesn't take a lot of resources to make a diamond shulker box. That's amazing storage. You get to keep it with you, take it wherever you want. I suggest you do that as soon as you can. Alright, now let's go out and journey and bring back some valuables. I sailed away and I stayed close to the shore for most of the adventure. Going on to deep water is dangerous because there's large serpents from Fire and Ice. And by the way, Fire and Ice is the mod that adds in dragons and other horrible monsters into your world, so I want to avoid them. So staying close to the shore, I just sailed around the jungle. I was able to get a good amount of clay just from going into like the river and shallow waters right here. As a reminder, I need like 9 clay blobs to make a block of brick, which is like more than double the regular amount it takes. So it's going to take a lot of collecting to build my new structure. I eventually actually ended up back at spawn, and I saw my little crab friend from episode 1. He was doing alright. Why don't we give this guy a name? Leave any name suggestions in the comments, and I'll come back to him and whenever I have a name tag, and we'll name him, and he'll be like our little friend. I knew the jungle would have a different variant of bee, so I wanted to harvest the tropical nest. The smoker and the iron hook made this a lot easier. You can just grab onto trees up high and take the bees, and it was great. There was this interesting cave in the ground. Might be a chunk area. It was way too square to be natural. The shallow water on the jungle edge provided me with a lot more clay. As I left the jungle, I saw one of those serpents I talked about earlier. And yeah, I think a whiff of me, so I darted away in my raft as fast as I could. Another interesting sight was the pirate ship with dragons circling it, and a random villager out in the water. He told me he was a fisherman and he had a house close by, but the house wasn't the coolest thing in the world. But I'll tell you what was interesting was this giant insect mound on the beach with giant bugs inside. Naturally, I had to exterminate the hive. I started by picking off the guard at the entrance and then blocking off the tunnel so I could look over it, but they couldn't get to me. And I was able to see a massive insect in there, which I assume was their queen. So I shot my arrows at her. She sent some soldiers my way. Luckily, the barrier was doing its job. They couldn't really get to me, but I could still punch down to them. I was able to clear out that main tunnel and got the queen taken care of. After that, I systematically cleared out the hive of any threats. Now, I realize that kind of seems like I just rolled up into their house, caused chaos, and took all their loot. And that's because that's exactly what I did. After the horrors of war, I went back home and emptied my pockets of all these gold nuggets. I did all of this for a handful of gold nuggets. I didn't want to return to the site of that tragedy, so I ended up going north and went away from spawn this time. It didn't take long before I came across a meteorite, and luckily my Invar pick could crack that thing open, and I got to the center, where I found a chest stored, and this meteorite is from Applied Energistics, which is a super cool mod that lets you store items in a computer system. It is one of the most powerful storage mods out there, and it's intended for much later in this pack. Speaking of later, I'll come back and get my revenge on this guy. He freaking smited me, used solar beam. I ran away with bravery. In the desert close by, I found some new bees and a tower structure. There was a lot of mobs and traps inside. I was able to get all the traps, break the spawners, took all the loot. I just didn't like how cramped and close quarters it was inside, so I tried to get through it as quickly as I could. I prefer fighting in a larger area. Like this large open marshy area with the fire dragon off in the distance. I continue to harvest bees and clay with a slight fear that the dragon could roll up on me at any moment. And now, back home. And now that I'm back home, we can check on our coal and see that we got a good amount of it, but for some reason, I could have sworn I put a full stack in there. Maybe it's not one-to-one like it usually is. So I'll keep an eye on this now that I'm at the base, but hey, we got 42 steel to work with now. So with the prospect of steel and potentially even better machines, I feel like I'm going to quickly outgrow my little workshop that I have over there. Oh, great, these guys. Hello, dear friends. No, it's fine. Yeah, what would you like? As I was saying, I'm going to eventually grow out of the workshop. So I think it's time to start relocating and start building into this area that I've been clearing out. So I'm going to take a quick moment to figure out what Y level I want, because I want most of this valley to end up becoming flat. I feel like that will just make my life easier. But if not, I gotta determine where exactly I can build it. I know there's probably more efficient ways I can be using my time right now instead of placing out a lot of dirt. But I just like terraforming and I like building more than anything else, really. And I feel like if I'm gonna play this mod pack for as long as I want to and make this like my long play, I gotta break up like tedious crafting and progression with more interesting projects that interest me, but I hope they also interest you. So yeah, that's all I gotta say. Back to laying dirt. Alrighty, I got the area flattened out. As you can see, the same area I flattened out earlier, I've now spread chop the trees, spread the dirt. I also made sure to light up the area underneath so that nothing unwanted spawns. And while I was laying the dirt, I also went ahead and laid down the base floor, the foundation of the building, just so I don't have to go back and then mine up the dirt I just placed. And yeah, this is going to be sort of like a factory type building. So we have our barn and workshop, but then this is getting a bit more industrial since we're starting to work with immersive engineering, which is kind of like the industrial revolution type era. So trying to get inspired with that kind of build. So this is definitely gonna be a brick building, and that's the brick's expensive in this mod pack, but we're just gonna have to go ahead and do it because that's the image I have in my head. So I'm gonna start laying up a bit of some walls. Luckily with chisel and bits, you can make some blocks go a bit further by chiseling them down to smaller sizes than a full block. So we'll see what I can come up with. Alrighty. So my chisel and bit thing broke, so this is all I could get done. But I think this is a good start, a good start for this little factory. I like the brick contrasted with the sandstone. I do like that contrast, the trimming. It'll take some time, but I think it's gonna look good in the long run. And yeah, I got some room in here for some machines and stuff. Maybe even move my storage into here now too. Or at least have some storage here, so like I don't have to run around a whole lot. So yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and off camera, I'm gonna move my storage into here. You know, we have the means of making more of the small crates and all that, so fill storage in here somehow, move some machines like the immersive engineering stuff. Yeah, we'll probably tuck them away somewhere in here. Maybe we can even kind of like give them like a chimney or something too, make it look like they're like part of the building. That'd be cool. And then we're gonna just have to do another resource gathering stuff. So yeah, so I'll just spend some time just doing stuff off camera, just grinding stuff up so we can spend more time progressing and doing cool stuff on the episodes themselves. But with that being said, thank you for watching. I have no idea how long today's episode is, but hope it's decent length, and I hope you guys enjoyed everything we got accomplished today. Thank you all for watching. If you liked it, please let me know down in the comments or give a like. And of course, if you like what I'm doing and you like the series, subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you guys for the next one. Goodbye.